How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video I'll be taking a look at smartphone which costs only £50. So this is the Xgody Y14 and it has a quad-core processor and it's got a 6-inch screen at the front over here, as you can see, and it only costs about £60. So this is an interesting phone over here. So in this video I'll be taking a look at this phone from pretty much every aspect, and so let's just get into the review. Okay, so I'm gonna cover social media in a bit, towards the end of the video, but I want to let you know that I've already recorded a clip that goes over social media and how it's like on this. So I'll go ahead and put that on later on at the video, and that's because there's a bit of an issue, so I just sorted that out so I can get a different opinion on this phone. So I've already pre-recorded the clip and I'll just go ahead and put that on as we get towards the topic. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with the unboxing. It comes in a really nice box, and this is also again another pre-recorded clip. So it comes in a decent packaging. If you take the top cover off of the box, you have the phone on top, which is inside some bubble wrap apparently, and that's really nice as well, I guess. And at the bottom of that, there's just an instruction booklet, a 1 amp charger, which is 5 volts obviously, and then there's just a the charging cable. That's about it. There's no headphones, nothing other than that. And it wasn't really packaged really well, but obviously since it's really cheap, you don't really expect it to be organized and everything. But yeah, that's about it. The instruction booklet actually has a lot of tiny writing in it, and I didn't read it because it's a flipping smartphone. Why do you even need an instruction booklet with the smartphone and all? Okay, I want to just go over the ad over here, the listing, and because there are some things that they're just lying about, so let me just go ahead and scroll down. It's got a really nice build quality. It's got a 6-inch display. The viewing angles that they're talking about over here, they're actually true. It's actually quite good. But better gaming, not much. High resolution, no. It's only a 540p display. Now this is the thing over here. So as you can see, that this picture is super sharp, and then this one is a little soft, and that's because they blurred it out a bit. But the thing is the other way around. The screen on this phone is not super sharp, but that's because the resolution is not not even 720p. But yeah, they're just lying over here. That's not really good. Now over here they're showing you a better musical experience, but no, the digital to analog converter inside this phone is one of the worst I've ever heard. There's just way too much white noise and everything. Okay, so let me just go ahead and go over the specs over here. So it's got a quad-core processor which is clocked at 1.3 gigahertz. So that's quad-core for £50. That is really good. Now in terms of storage, you got 8GB version. So this is the 8GB version. But as you can see over here, it only shows that you have 5GB. And I have installed a lot of apps and all. Not a lot, but a lot of games and everything. And it doesn't really seem like that's 8GB. It's got some weight to the phone, so that's quite nice. It kind of feels premium. And in terms of RAM, it's only got 512 megabytes of RAM. So as you can see, if I go into here, it's actually going to show that there's only 152 megabytes of RAM free. So that's really low. That's not good. But we'll see in this review what I think about the RAM, because there is a bit of an issue going on over here. Other than that, the rest is pretty much really good. The build quality is really great on this phone, and it's also got a really nice design to it. As you can see, I've got the gold version over here, and the design, I love it. It looks really nice. It looks like one of the LG G5 or something, and that looks really nice. The screen is actually really good as well. We'll get onto that later on, but the design is just amazing. It's really good. I like this design. It's got some heft to it. It's made out of a metal, and I think it's aluminium or aluminum if you're an American, that you call it. And it does feel really premium. I've also heard that these phones actually are like tanks, and you can use them like hammers or something, and they'll just work really well. I've seen a video on YouTube about it, so that's what I'm saying and all. Okay, taking a look around the device, you got the screen on the front over here. You got a flash on the top over here of the phone. You got a front-facing 5 megapixel camera, and I don't know if that's a light sensor because it doesn't have auto brightness in here. It's just high and low brightness. That's all it is. So I don't know about the light sensor. But the 6-inch display is really nice. Even though it's not even a HD display, it's actually quite nice. But I'll get onto the issues of the display and all that in a bit. At the bottom, you've got some capacitive buttons. Those are the menu button over here. You've got the home button, and you've got the back button over here. So if I think it will go back now. There you go. So that just works. I've got it kind of set up to be really fast. Now the buttons are on the side. So you got the power button, and you've got the volume down and volume up. That's all there is. On this side, you've got the micro USB port for charging and your headphone out. On the back, you've got a 5 megapixel camera with the design over here that has nothing to do with anything. It's just there. It's not a fingerprint sensor, nothing like that. And they claim that that's an autofocus camera, but it's not. It's just one of the worst cameras I've ever seen. But it has got a flash at the back as well as the front camera over here. It actually has a flash on the front camera. So that's kind of new, and you don't see that a lot on phones. One of the things I like about this phone is that all the ports are on one side. So you're going to charge it from here, and you can also use a headphone out from here. You don't have to worry about them getting in the way or anything. On the other side, there is obviously the speaker and the microphone down here, but that's not a problem. The thing is, if you're going to put this on inside your pocket, you can use headphones really easily. And also charging, if you're going to use an external power bank on the go, obviously if you're going to put in your phone, you can also listen to music and charge it at the same time. So that's quite nice. I actually think I really like that. Also, since it's just £50, there is no OTG, so you can't use an external USB device or something. I've even tried the DAC and it just doesn't work. That port over there is only used for charging. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it off. What I'm going to do is open the back, because there is a bit of funny thing going on over here. I'm just going to go ahead and open the back. There's a little hinge over here which you can just pull, get your nail in and pull out. But I was thinking that the micro USB cable is actually uncovered, and I was just kind of pulling it from there, but don't do that. There actually did a little bit over here that you actually get your nail into and you pop it out. So at the back, when you open it up, you've got the big battery, and that's about it. The memory card slot and everything are over here. As you can see, it kind of shows that over there. So the first SIM card slot, the second SIM card slot, and also the micro SD card slot right at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn it off right now, and I'll show you a bit of a thing. This is one of the worst parts of a phone. Okay, so to access the SIM cards and the memory card slot, you have to take the battery out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Now what you'll see here is, if I can zoom in right over there. Alright, hopefully that is in good focus. So over here, what you have is a little tray that pops up, and that's for your micro SIM card slot. On the top you have the normal SIM card slot, so that's the big SIMs, and then right at the bottom over there is a micro SD card slot. Alright, so they're all layered in on top of another. That is a complete joke. Okay, so that's not good. I don't like that, and that's why I haven't been using a SIM card with it, because I actually tried it and it actually got stuck in there, and I don't want to do that again. So let's go ahead and turn it back on, and we'll go ahead and move on from here. So because of this, I haven't been using a memory card with it at all, and I also haven't been using a SIM card with it, so I'm not going to be able to show you or tell you what it's like using a SIM card or anything, because I haven't really been using one with it. But I don't recommend you getting one in there. If you are gonna get the SIM in there, you're best getting an adapter, which I don't have around here, so I just didn't get one in there. I have a nano SIM, so that just doesn't fit inside this. Also, it's just 3G, so no 4G on it, so it's not gonna be the best. And once you turn it on, it actually is a bit on the slow side, but because of the Wi-Fi, it's just checking for some updates and everything. On pretty much every Android phone, I'd say this happened. Okay, so I'm gonna take a look at the camera over here. Now I have got another camera application. If it just turned on right now, so it's a bit slow, which is open camera, I might have just deleted that actually. But anyways, it wasn't much use on this phone actually. You know, it wasn't much. So let's go ahead and talk about the camera. And what I'm gonna do is just take a picture over here, and it's just right now it's slow, but normally it's not this slow. I just like turned it on right now and also, you know. Okay, so it seems like it's turned on. I just have to stop the recording button, and you have a few options over here. It's the stock Android launcher, so you don't get some special options. You have got your, you know, settings over here, which will give you a few options. Of course, you got face detector and you can change ISO and everything, but that's all pretty normal. What I will say is that there is HDR mode as well, so that's good. What I'm gonna do is take a picture. It only records in 720p video, I think. But if you get open camera, the application, then you can actually record in 1080p, which is just upscaled. It's not gonna record in that, I don't think so. So I'll just go ahead and take a picture over here of something. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and take HDR off and then take another picture. Okay, the flash on this camera is not good. It's not really bright and everything, so that's not good. But let's go ahead and change to the front facing camera, which is this one over here. So there you go, it's loaded the front facing camera. I'll just pause the recording. Okay, so as you can see, my world's best setup over here. Now the front facing camera, it actually got a flash on it. So let's go ahead and press this, and as you can see, if you actually saw that, the flash actually comes on, but it's not a really good flash. I'll just go ahead and show you the pictures over here. They're not like the best. So right now I'm in the studio, so I'm just working with this video. So as you can see, there's just not a lot of detail or anything. Maybe it's because the light is actually just making it decent pictures. These are not usable at all, but for Instagram and everything, these are just fine, I'd say. And there's my ugly face over here. Of course, it's not in focus because it doesn't have autofocus. What the hell did I do now? Why is it not showing me the other pictures? Okay, so here's the picture I just took over here. I just go ahead and zoom in over here. As you can see, there's just no detail on that. I don't know what it is, but it's just no detail on this one. Is okay, it's quite sharp and everything, but that's because it's under really good lighting. Now that's not what, and this is HDR, so it just kind of messed up. It's a little softer and everything, but the thing is, it says that it has autofocus, but it doesn't have autofocus. What the hell are you doing now, man? Come on, go back to the camera. Okay, I'll just go ahead and switch the camera again. Okay, now if you press over here, there we go. So it just shows that sign that there's autofocus, but there is no autofocus on this camera. It says that there is, but there isn't. That's just a fake thing that it just shows. Or maybe if it isn't to do with autofocus, it's probably just the exposure or something that is changing. But it just there is no such thing as autofocus on this camera, so that's just bad. But the camera is okay if it's in good lighting condition. It's usable for Instagram and everything, but it's not good at all in terms of picture quality. It's not good at all. So I'm just going to go into settings. Let's talk about the software of this phone. So it's running Android 5.1, so that's not the latest, but to be honest with you, £50 not that bad. But what I will say is it only has 512 megabytes of RAM, so multitasking and everything is not good. Let's go ahead and close this. So if you're going to be multitasking, this is not a good phone at all. It's nowhere near any good. It gets really slow. And what I also recommend is do not use any other installation of launcher or custom keyboard or anything. Just don't. It's gonna slow the phone down a lot. I just up into install because I've uninstalled it obviously. So SwiftKey is the custom keyboard app, and I've uninstalled it because it just made the phone a lot slower. And also to do with the launcher, it actually had a huge effect on the performance of this phone. So I got Cheetah launcher, which is known to be one of the lightest launchers out there, but it just wasn't good. Oh, here's the stupid camera app which I was talking about. Oh crap, I've opened it now. That's not good, is it? But this camera app is much better than the one that the stock launcher comes with. But multitasking on here is not good at all. It actually slows down the phone so much that it turns the whole thing into just picture and slideshow. Also the Wi-Fi is actually slow at times. It's not fast. It tends to disconnect if it wants to just start saving battery life. I don't know why it does that, but it's really annoying. But if you're near the Wi-Fi router or router, some people like to call it, then that's okay. But it's just kind of slow at times at loading stuff. Maybe it's not slow, but it's just not responsive, I guess I can say. Alright, let's talk about the display. I'm just going to go ahead and open YouTube up. Now what I've done is I've gone on to developer options, and I've actually sped things up a bit. So just go ahead and show you it, my options in the settings over here. Right now I'm not doing intensive multitasking, so it's not doing all that much of slowdown and all. But what I've got is, if you go right at the bottom, if you click if you keep that on, don't keep activities, it's gonna not let some apps work, because those apps actually go into another app. So like if you were playing a game, you open an advertisement, and then just to get some free cash, you close the advertisement, it's probably gonna close the game when you jump onto that. But you can actually limit the processes over here. Now whenever you restart the phone, I think it goes back to standard limit. If you go no background processes, then it just turns the whole system off. It just freezes, because it just pauses the whole Android system. So that's kind of funny. But what I recommend is just go ahead and use at least most one process. So that's going to keep you, if you've minimized apps, it's going to actually just speed it up a bit, because it's just going to close the other apps and all. But let's talk about the display over here. Okay, so the thing with this display is, I'll just go ahead and go to the long video here. There's a long video. Okay, so I've gone on one of my videos, because other videos are not good at all. This is a very crap channel of mine. But what I'm gonna say about the display is that it's really big. It's really good for watching videos on it. And if I go onto the options over here, it allows only up to 480p, so that's not good. So the screen resolution is 960 by 540, so it's 540p display, but it just doesn't let you do anything. It just doesn't let you use 720p or anything like that. It's just 480p videos. But the viewing angles are actually quite good. As you can see, the viewing angles are really good. The colors don't change other than I think the tint on it. So if you look at it from the bit of a top over here, it goes a bit green, and if you look at it from a bit of a lower side, it actually goes a bit more bluey. But the thing is, if you actually look at a 45-degree angle, it goes into like an AMOLED screen. That's what it turns into. So it gets a bit darker, but the colors really pop and all that. But videos on it is actually really good. The thing is, even though it's not 720p or anything above that, I actually really like watching videos on it. It's actually a big screen, and 480p may not be the best, but on a small screen, if you're gonna hold it right up to your eyes, that's not good. That's bad for your eyes. If you're gonna hold your arm's length, that's good. That's for 480p. That is actually really good. At least for me, I actually enjoy watching videos on this a lot. And as you can see, watching videos is really good over here. So what I'll do is, it has a mono speaker. So I'll just go ahead and do a speaker test. I'm just gonna put the audio up, and I will talk about the speaker in a bit as well.
Screen over here, so it looks. Oh, is that like how the game works? Oh, it's gone dark now. Why did it do that? Okay,
Okay, maybe you can hear something like, I don't know, like a fan or something. That's actually the microphone in the game. I mean, in the video, not the microphone speaker on this phone.
Oh, there's only this word over here. We got no word. Oh, this is a deserted island, booty. It's a big one, but oh, we've got another sheep. So I got one wolf. We need to look for a lot more. Oh, that's a cow. Got a bit.
Okay, so the speaker is not the best, but the thing is, it's mono. I will say one thing: it's actually clear. It doesn't have a lot of distortion, but it's not really good for. I mean, it's just a speaker. I guess decent in terms of volume and loudness, so that's okay. I mean, speaker is okay. I'm okay with it. Oh yeah, whatever. Alright, so when you're actually using headphones with this, there's just a lot of background noise. I mean, it's not clean. There's so much interference with the I don't know, there's coil whine, and then there's a lot of white noise coming in the background. And even on 250 ohm headphones, I've actually heard it, and that's not good. So if I put the volume down, now what I'll also say is that, okay, at this volume there's no volume, no speak, nothing's working. Also on this volume, so that's 2 up, it actually still doesn't work. It still turned the whole dark thing off. And then on third volume it actually starts working. So that's kind of funny. It doesn't, the volume level is not really mapped properly, I guess that's what you can say. But I'll just show you kind of over here. So audio is working, go down, audio stops working at level 2, and then 1, and this not working, not working, and then not working, and then working. So you have to have at least 3 levels of volume for the whole thing to work with audio. And on top of that, the audio is not really good because it's not clean. But what I'll also show you is, if I go into settings, if I go into sound and notification, I think is at the bottom of here you have sound enhancement, and I've got them both on. Now this is best hold in, whatever that is, and best loudness. But this actually increases the loudness of the speaker, and that actually enhances the audio for the earphones and whatever you're using. Sorry, I got quick off the display. So enhances the audio quality, enhances the loudness of the speaker, and then there's surround sound and everything else over here. So it also does high quality Bluetooth files, so that's good. But that I recommend you keeping it on all the time. It actually has a really good effect on the audio quality. It actually makes it really good instead of really mono-y and kind of tinny and boring sound. And then the loudness, I will, you know, why wouldn't you want a loudspeaker? So I've just got that on. But those are the audio enhancements, and they actually do improve the audio quality a lot. So I guess you've already heard some commentary over the gameplay. So that's how that sounds. Obviously it's going to be a lot more better if you have whoever you're watching has a better microphone. But now we're going to go into some NCS and just show you what that sounds like. Now this is the Google keyboard, and it actually doesn't fill up the screen. Now if you get the Swift key keyboard, or I think any other keyboard, it's actually the Swift key keyboard was right on top. Like I couldn't see anything on the display, what I'm typing or anything. It was just right at the top, so it just hides the whole screen. So that wasn't really good. And as you can see, since the resolution is actually low, the buttons and everything are really big. If I go ahead and hold that, look how big that is. This screen is 6 inches, so that's huge. This is actually really big. Anyways, let's go ahead and show you some NCS over here, so you can get an idea of how it sounds like.
You can track your order to see exactly when it will arrive. Download the Amazon app today.
So as you can see, commentary is okay. That was a good microphone in the advertisement. It actually gets decent loud enough, so that's kind of good. Alright, just for a comparison, I'm gonna play the same song on the BlackBerry Passport, which has one of the best speakers. I've got to put the volume up. Oh, I'm watching that movie now. Alright. This phone has really loud speakers and is much louder than this one. But let's just go ahead and skip to where the song is actually playing with the beat and everything. And we'll go ahead and do it from here. So here's the speakers on that side, and the BlackBerry Passport speakers are at the bottom. The speakers on that side. But let's go ahead and face it this way. So the microphone is actually down over here. I'm using a lavalier microphone. Okay, let's start with this one. Kind of sounds tinny, it's not good, this one. So there's a lot more bass in it. It's much more filled in, it's more like hi-fi, and this also stadia. But this phone costs £200, 4 times more than this, so that's not good. The speaker is not really bad for actually gaming and everything on it. I mean, for multimedia consumption, but it's just not gonna be it's not gonna stand up to, you know, really high-end phones. In the future, we'll see other phones and we'll see how it stacks up against those. Alright, I'll just go ahead and show you another problem with the headphone jack is, if you're gaming on this, if I zoom out a bit, if you're gaming on this phone, it's actually gonna get in the way. Ooh, and that has actually pissed me off a lot. It gets in the way. You can just open a gap between the fingers and let it through, but it still gets in the way. And if you're holding it like this, the speaker is on that side, and that's really good because it actually lets the audio out, but the headphone jack gets in the way. Now on this way, the speaker gets blocked, but the headphone jack still kind of gets in the way because you can't really put your hand around it like that, and then you have to like hold it like this. But if you're gonna not use headphones, then gaming is okay. I'm just saying that it gets in the way, you know, the headphone jack, it gets in the way, so that's not funny. But whatever. Yeah, it kind of works. The gaming on this phone is actually really, really good. But I also have something to talk about in terms of gaming. Now what I'll do now is, since the camera's battery is low, I'll actually stop the recording. I'll come back after a day and do a lot of gaming tests. So yeah, that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a bit of gaming on this device, and that's because I think gaming actually shows you a lot of what the device is actually capable of. In this case, it's a quad-core processor, but it only has 512 megabytes of RAM, so we'll see what the limitation is. Now I have got some emulators over here, so we'll check out PPSSPP first. Here we go, looks loads of good, and this is one of the lightest games because it's a 2D platformer, that's all it is. So let's go ahead and jump onto this. Okay, so here we go. So as you can see, right now it's working quite good. I have got the FPS up there, so you can probably tell by the audio quality that's coming out. No, of course I don't want to flip it. I don't know where I've gone on to now. Oh, it doesn't let me continue. So as you can see, it's really slow on PPSSPP. Alright, we go into the first level over here, and as you can see, it's just 15 FPS, which is not good at all, and there also are some graphical glitches. I have tried to get this into one of the best settings, so it's easiest to run, but this is the best I got, just 15 FPS, and that's not really good at all. I mean, imagine Monster Hunter on this, that would be just unplayable. Probably be like 1 frame per second or something, I don't know, but this game definitely takes a lot of processing power of this phone, and I don't think it's good enough on it. You can tell by the speaker that it's actually just clicking. I'll just go ahead and exit over here because we all know this doesn't work, and it wasn't gonna work from the beginning. So okay, so if you notice over there, I've got airplane mode on. Now what I find is on this device and on a lot of cheap devices, Wi-Fi actually hits up the performance a lot. So if you turn the Wi-Fi off, the games and everything that you play are going to be a lot more better to play on. Let's go ahead and try a Game Boy. Obviously everything like this works perfectly fine. I've just got some Emerald over here. I'm going to play this. Can you go landscape? Okay, there we go. So there's Emerald for you. Of course, it's a big screen. This is really good for emulation, but if you want, don't try to get the memory card in there. That is not a really good position. I actually got my micro SD card stuck in there, and I had to just use a needle to get it opened. But Game Boy games and Game Boy Color and everything, they work perfectly fine. I don't think NDS is gonna work really well, and also N64 is probably not gonna work. It might work, but not the best. So just not for emulation. Unless you do Game Boy and everything, then it's fine. Anyways, let's go ahead and get rid of this Xgody and all. Oh no, they're actually gonna take me in a huge story. Let's check. So well, we all knew that this was gonna work. So yes. That's a free emulator, by the way, but I don't think it has a lot of good features in it because there is a premium version. So now let's jump into the Android games. These are the main games that I wanted to test out. So let's start off with Drive Ahead first. Now the Wi-Fi is off. Now the reason I'm actually doing a lot of jump cuts is my camera overheats, but of course it has a better quality, so I'm just recording with it and all, but it's taking a very long time. Now this actually takes quite a long time to load. I don't know if it is this game, but it didn't take as long as but without Wi-Fi this game runs really well. Let's go ahead and jump into this. So let's see what the mission is today. Win a game. So let's go ahead and just do this one then. I can only hope that it just doesn't stop recording. But Drive Ahead actually works. Oh, what the flip. No, this one. I'm not gonna stick around with this. No, I'm really bad at this one because I'll just go on classic match over here. So I was gonna say that all I can hope is when it comes to gaming I have to record for longer than what I typically do, which is like 2-minute segments and all, in case it just stops recording. So I don't know, I'll have to just see. But this Wi-Fi is off. Now if you turn the Wi-Fi on this game, it turns into a complete slideshow at times. Mainly has on a lot of games on this phone, it just has a lot of hiccups, and that's because I think it tries to fill in the RAM again and again and just unload it, because it is low. It has to try to keep all the game assets loaded up, and I don't think it has a lot of RAM for that, because the system of course is also taking the RAM. So that's not good. I'm about to die. But the Wi-Fi is off, but if you turn the Wi-Fi on, trust me, it's not gonna be good. It's just gonna be a lot of hiccups, especially when you end a game over here. So like when you win or lose, and when the coins come to go to the corner, like this one right now, it does have a lot of hiccups and all. And multiplayer on this game is unplayable, and let's talk about that right now just for a second. This game works really good on Wi-Fi off, but if you turn Wi-Fi on, then it will have a big hit. As you can see, it is a bit slow because the game is running in the background. Oh no, I'm back on it. Alright, before we jump into the next game, which I want to talk about all these games at once for a minute, but if you want to play multiplayer, this is not a good phone because the Wi-Fi chip inside this is really weak. Now I tried playing Drive Ahead with my brother, but it just way too slow. It just doesn't let you play. It just fakes it, and this phone is too slow, which is making the other phone too slow. Now my brother's phone is a Note 2, and so that goes onto the game and it loads all the stage and everything ready to play. But this phone is still on the screen where it says waiting for opponent, and then later on when it goes on to that, it just disconnects because it took too long. Blocky Traffic works perfectly. Minecraft works just about perfectly. Roblox, depending on which games you get, which games you play, depending on how heavy it is, it can be laggy, but my world is not laggy at all because there's nothing on that. Virtual Tennis is perfectly fine. 1010 it actually has a lot of hiccups when you're picking and putting the blocks around. I'll show you that later on. Beach Buggy Bliss again is the same like Drive Ahead. It runs almost perfectly fine with a few hiccups with the Wi-Fi off, and with the Wi-Fi on it does the same thing, but there are a bit more hiccups. Now however, when you are starting the game up, it does just pause for like 10-15 seconds because it's just loading in the whole stage and everything into the RAM, and that kind of slows it down. Earn to Die is a 2D game. It works perfectly fine even with the Wi-Fi on. Hill Climb Racing works perfectly fine. SimCity works okay, but it's kind of boring and slow and shit. Very Bad Roads works perfectly fine. Now Zombie Derby 2, that's a full 3D game. It's basically like Earn to Die, but it's in 3D. Now that game does not work at all. It just loads up and the play button comes, but it just freezes the whole system, and you have to restart it because it just overfills the RAM and it just crashes everything. At least I think that's what happens. And that goes, because this one doesn't have has a lot of RAM for the games to fill in, and so that's a good example of what big games will do. I'm not sure about GTA 5 or anything, but to be honest with you, if you're gonna get games, don't get big games, just stick around with small games. Jetpack Joyride actually has it's funny because it's a 2D game and it's a lot like hill climb racing and all, but it's just a bit more, you know, graphic intensive because it has a lot of particles and all this and that. But it actually has a lot of hiccups. With the Wi-Fi off, it actually helps a lot, but then again, I'd say it's just about playable, but it's unplayable at the same time. It just has a lot of hiccups. Don't get that game. At least I don't think you should. Minesweeper, of course, works perfectly fine. So let's jump into blocky traffic over here. Show you this for a minute. Now this was one of the first games I got, and you will find that it is slow here and there, but for the main game, it's actually fast enough. It's just Google Play services that, you know, make it a little slow and all. So this game is one of the first I got, and when I got it, I looked at the buttons. These buttons are huge on the front. The screen is big and really nice for gaming. The GPU is it's 540p, and so the GPU doesn't really hurt it much. But it still has some hiccups on Beach Boogie Blaze. If you turn the graphics down, it actually has a lot of improvement. I'm trying to play with the camera in front of my face, so mind me, I'm really good at this game. Put the volume up in a bit. Here we go. Sometimes when I put the volume up, it actually has a hiccup on some games that are more intensive. I don't know why. It's just the RAM is just the bottleneck on this whole system. So if you come to think of it, I don't know why they went with 512 megabytes of RAM. I'd say this phone is probably at best worth 35 quid just because of the RAM. Now this is an important bit because I'll actually talk about this at the end as well, in case somebody's skipping the gaming bit. But there's another version of this one, which is the Y20. Now this is the Y14. That's exactly the same thing, but it has 1 gigabyte of RAM. Now I haven't tested that because I haven't got it, but this game works perfectly fine, even with Wi-Fi on. But if I get a chance to test it out in the future, I'll let you guys know that it's probably because of the RAM that's going to work so much more better than this one. But everything else is exactly the same. The processor, the screen, everything else on the phone is exactly the same, other than a new design and just a whole extra gig of RAM. So I mean extra 500 megabytes of RAM on the phone. So that should help in a lot of games. Okay, so welcome to Minecraft. Now I've got a bit of a different angle because I can't be standing up anymore. It's a flipping pain in the backside. Jump into Minecraft. Now with Wi-Fi off, of course it's gonna have an increase in performance, but whatever, I'm just gonna flip in. Oh, sitting down is much nicer, you know. Now the thing is, this is a quad-core phone. Now I find that the performance in games and everything is actually really good considering the price. There are no lag at all. There is like no lag. It's 60 FPS, but it has a lot of hiccups because of the RAM. So as you can see, Minecraft actually works quite well on this phone. It's just that I'm not really a fan of touchscreen controls. There are of course some hiccups, like I said, again and again. But for the most part, it works quite well. Now as you can see, it does get up to 60 FPS. But if you move and it loads up some chunks over here, let's just go ahead and wait for it to load up the chunks. Now as you can see, it's actually 60 FPS. I'm not recording on 60, but as you can see, really cool. There you go. Again, we moved somewhere and it started lagging again because it has to load in the chunks over there. But you can't just decrease the render distance and all. But as you can see, it runs at 60 FPS. It's actually quite good. There you go. So when you're walking around normally, that's when just flying around. That's really fast, isn't it? So when you're walking around like this, it's quite good actually. For Minecraft Pocket Edition, I'd say this is okay. But of course you can get better things out there, of course. And then again, of course, they are gonna, you know, cost a little more. But the thing is, the Y20, which I talked about a second ago, is actually cheaper than this phone, and it has 1 gig of RAM. Now the thing is, when I was looking at this phone, I bought this, and then that actually came up in the suggestions list, so it just kind of just pissed me off now because I should have got that instead. So yeah, I'm just flipping. Here we go. I'm not a really good Minecraft player, as you probably saw from the video playback. But Minecraft, as you can see, it runs pretty well. Yeah, it's actually okay. It just has a lot of hiccups when it's loading in some chunks and everything. So yeah, let's just finish this off. Now I'm not going to be checking out Roblox, but it's just as good as Minecraft, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to show you 1010 over here now. I won't be playing all the games because obviously you know, don't really have time for it. It's actually quitting off on the screen, but I'll just kind of show you what's going on. So the point of this game is to just, it's like Tetris, but you place these blocks around if you can fit them in as much as you can, and then, you know, get rid of them to get the most score. Now with the Wi-Fi on, it actually has hiccups when I'm putting the block down or picking it up. So it's funny that it's not how it's just when I'm recording a video, it has to not do things, does it? I mean, it's kind of funny, it happens to everyone. Like, I'm just playing this game right now, it's working perfectly fine, but it's not showing the problem that it normally does when I'm playing it. What the hell, man? You're making a fool out of me right now. But it does have hiccups. Like, as you can see, you saw in Minecraft as well that there were hiccups. This game has similar hiccups, but not as much as Minecraft. But then again, it's just a game. This phone I don't really recommend for gaming. I'm just showing it because it actually shows what a device can do, and I don't know, I'm just talking shit right now. Alright, whatever, this game works perfectly fine. I'll just go ahead and pop this down. And this is a really light game, so as you can see, the system is running a lot faster on it. But let's go ahead and show you Beach Buggy Blitz, which actually takes a lot of resources. Okay, here we go. Now the settings on this in terms of graphics, I've got it on half, so half resolution, half FPS. It shows you over here. There we go, something like that. So because if you use full resolution, I think the GPU actually has some hiccups, believe it or not. It just misses out some frames. Now it's gonna pause over here for a second. There we go. Now it's loading in the assets of the game. Now this is the funny thing about this phone, just some games do this, but it does get a lot more smoother as you go on. There we go. And also when it's actually having hiccups, and if you're touching the controls in the game, it's actually gonna just freeze the control. So if you had a button pressed down, it's gonna freeze it on that, so the car's gonna instantly just turn around in 90 degrees or something. Can be very annoying. It just messes up the game. There you go, some hiccups right there because, you know, I had to break mushroom right there, you know. So I'm saying, I think the RAM inside this one is just breaks it apart. But the rest for £50, and if you want to do some messaging and all, that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying after this bit I'm gonna go into social media, but I'm not saying that you can't use social media on this phone. You can, but just don't get too many of social media apps because they run in the background and take up a lot of RAM. It's just gonna make it even worse. This is the best you can kind of get. I don't have a lot of apps running in the background, so, you know, that's what I'm saying. Beach Buggy Blitz runs really well. I've been playing on it, and as you can see, I've got the monster truck. I've got it on flipping. I've been playing a lot on this game. I'll just go ahead and die off over here. Hopefully, just go ahead and stop the recording and then come back or something, because it's gonna stop recording. I know it. Here we go. I'm just wasting some time. Oh, you see some hiccups. Okay, so here we go. Okay, let's go get some upgrades now. So I'll show you what I've done on this. Look how much I've upgraded all this, right? On all of them on almost full, and I got this car almost on full. So you can probably tell how much I've been playing, and that one as well. So I've actually been playing a lot of this game on this phone, because it runs okay. The screen is big, so it's really enjoyable. But I still prefer the Xgody Play because the physical controls, that is a lot more better. But it isn't bad. This isn't really bad. Beach Buggy Blitz runs really well, but it does have hiccups here and there. Now I'm not going to show you any games. I won't recommend Jetpack Joyride. It runs worse than any of these games over here, you know, considering what it is, just a 2D game. Now let's talk about where it actually gets hot. When you're playing the games, it actually gets hot around this camera over here, or doing intensive work. It gets hot around the camera, but it actually tends to cool down really quickly. I don't know why, but I'm guessing that's a heatsink or something. But it's quite hot over here, really well warm right now, but obviously it would get hotter. But it tends to get hot over here, and it does really it gets a little confusing, because I mean, it kind of gets in the way, because you're wondering if your fingers or your hand is gonna like not let the heat dissipate, so it's just gonna get even hotter, and then it's probably gonna bottleneck or just, I don't know, freeze or something, the whole system. So that can be quite annoying. I mean, I keep thinking that, so I just like have my hand like this, so you know, something like that. I just like try to not keep my fingers on it, so it just, but that's just me. I mean, of course every phone gets hot, and it doesn't really make much a difference. It's just cooling itself down with the metal frame, so it just gets hot around that area. Okay, I just want to finish off some gaming over here. I'll just talk about something. So if you're playing a game and you actually want to get some free cash by getting some, by you know, looking at an advertisement, so that's in Beach Boogie Blitz, when you want to get free coins, and also in Drive Ahead or some other games over here, not Minecraft of course. But what happens is the RAM is already filled up, so it actually loads in the advertisement as well. Now sometimes it's going to crash the whole system, sometimes it's going to turn into a slideshow and you have to just exit the whole thing, which is really kind of unnecessary. And then sometimes the game just turns off, and then the advertisement just freezes, and then you have to like go home and all. These buttons, they vibrate when you touch on them, right? Really nice feedback, but of course they are capacitive. I'd much rather prefer physical buttons. But when you're playing games and an advertisement comes up, it's gonna have, well, what I'm saying is, don't use advertisements to get free coins and everything. It's just gonna mess up the whole thing. Just don't. I've tried it and it just messes up the whole thing. The best thing is use the airplane mode, and yeah, that actually again helps a lot. Okay, so I'm just gonna add this segment over here into the video, and I want to show you what it is like with the media over here, the social media. I mean, so I've got the few main apps installed that people use. Now this is the problem with this phone. As far as I've experienced. Now as you can see over here, it says CM cleaner and it's at 85%. Now that shows you the RAM usage on this phone. Now if you go into settings, and like I said, this phone has only 512 megabytes of RAM. So if I go up into applications over here, and it's actually going to show you that if we go into running, now I've got pretty much at least all or most of the social media that everybody uses, and just wait for it to load over here. I just go ahead and I just show it up close. So as you can see over here, it says 168 megabytes of RAM is free, but that's not the case. If you go down over here, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you got Messenger, you got Snapchat, which is restarting, you've got Viber, which is restarting as well, and then WhatsApp is not over here yet. It's gonna come along, and this is the problem. I'll just turn it into landscape once again. Alright, so it's running really slowly, and that's because the RAM is actually filled up. So if you're gonna get this from social media, just don't get a lot of social media apps, like, you know, all of them that I've got installed over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete them, because I don't really use them much as well, and they're taking up some kind of space over here. I don't really use Instagram on this. Well, I can, but I'm not going to use any of them on this. I've got that on the BlackBerry Passport, and it works just fine on that. So just a lot of apps over here that I've just got to demonstrate these, but Snapchat again is taking up a lot, and it just keeps on restarting constantly and again. And also, while you're actually using these apps, they're actually really laggy and buggy and everything. As you can see, it's just slowing down the whole system. The launcher normally doesn't really take this long to just work. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all the apps that are running in the background. As you can see, like Facebook, they're just continuously updating and everything, just getting some information in to just keep you updated with your friends and all. And to me, that's not really necessary, because, you know, I've got it in my passport, so that's okay for me. But if you're gonna get this for social media, I'd say get the 1 GB model, or just don't use a lot of apps if you already got this or something. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and delete them, and if you do clean it up, it just doesn't have much of an effect, to be honest with you. And once you've done this cleaning up nonsense, then it should be a lot more faster. Now this isn't really an issue, it's just the RAM inside this phone is actually just quite low. So, you know, there's that. Just gonna delete all this nonsense. over here that I don't really use. Apparently these apps take up so much space and they just download this really small in file size and all. Here you go, force stop and then uninstall. This is how you do proper uninstallation, otherwise it just leaves some things behind and that's taking up some space. So just do it like this. Okay, so that doesn't mean you can not use social media. I'll just go ahead and show you an application that I've got on this phone, which also of course works on this phone as well, and that's called social media over here. Just go ahead and bring it a bit up over here. But what you want to do is go on Google Play and search for all-in-one social media app, and what you get is this. This is all-in-one social media, and it basically just goes on the websites, but you know, of course it actually does load on the social media accounts and everything. So you can use Instagram, YouTube, Twitter and everything, and also Snapchat if I turn the Wi-Fi on, of course, which I have got it off. But this app actually doesn't take up a lot of RAM or anything, because it actually minimizes it. Well, actually, because it just doesn't have any notifications, it actually goes onto the web pages of the platforms that you're looking at over here, and that actually helps a lot. Now you can get maybe 1 or 2 social media apps like Instagram and Snapchat, but the rest you're best off using the browser or something, or you can get this app, which of course has all the different platforms in one page, and you can just click on it and then go into the browser. YouTube doesn't really affect it because it doesn't run in the background unless you're using it, so that's okay. Okay, now let's talk about the battery life, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Now I haven't been using the Sim because I haven't really got one. I couldn't get one in there, but I have to charge it every day at least once to get through the day. When you're putting it on sleep mode, where you just press the power button, it doesn't really keep your battery at all. The battery life is really good. Every day at about 7 PM or something I have to charge it, because it's down onto 30s and 20s and so I have to charge all the way up to 100. And I do use a 2 amp charger, not 1 amp, but it is recommended to use 1 amp. Of course I use a tablet charger because it charges up a lot faster. It can't actually, I don't know, mess up the battery or something, but whatever. As you can see, it turns Wi-Fi on. It's actually gone, so if I go on this, as you can see, it's just a lot more slower because it's actually checking for some updates or something. But whatever, that kind of makes sense. So the battery life is okay. It's pretty typical. I haven't been using the Sim. It's probably worse than what it normally is if you're going to use a SIM card and all. Of course, if you have a lot of apps running in the background, that's also going to affect the battery life. Sorry, I didn't have it in focus over there, kind of forgot. But let's do the conclusion. So at the end of the day, for 50 quid, this is a really good smartphone. The only problem is the RAM actually hits the performance a lot. So if you're deciding on getting a phone for 50 quid, get the Y20. This is the Y14. The Y20 has another 512 megabytes of RAM, and it's exactly the same thing. Running the exact same operating system, everything is exactly the same, even the processor, the GPU and everything. It just has 1 gigabyte of RAM. I just came across it after I bought this, so I would have just bought that instead. But that has 1 gigabyte of RAM. Maybe you can do a lot more stuff on that and all, because you know the RAM is much more better, and it just costs 50 quid again. So I kind of think that one is going to be much better, but this isn't bad. It's 512 megabytes of RAM. May just be the bottleneck and everything, but it actually runs things pretty well. Of course, you can tell by the processor. Some games do go to 60 FPS, but then they do hiccups because of the RAM and all. It's really good. It's really good for entertainment. That's why I personally find it best for entertainment. So for watching YouTube videos and all, it is really good. Really good. For gaming, it's okay depending on which games you get, obviously. But for social media and everything else, and to do with your phone stuff, I'd say it's a bit big. Get something a little smaller. But anyways, if you guys then have any questions about this phone, let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you again in another video. Surely I missed something out.